On today's show, we explore what 200 podcast episodes have taught me about fear, confidence, adventure, storytelling, and creating a life that actually feels worth living. Plus the deeper meaning behind Movify Your Life, where this movement is heading next, and why I truly believe the best plot twists may still be ahead. So, grab your popcorn, get comfy, and silence your inner critic, because it's time to Movify Your Life times 200. Welcome to the Movify Your Life Show, the plot twists you've been waiting for. I'm your host, Jessica Grace Coleman, and through the Movify Your Life method, I'll show you how to step into the starring role of your story and create a life worth watching. Every Movify Monday, you'll learn how to turn everyday moments into unforgettable memories, activate your main character energy, and use cinematic tools to boldly chase your biggest dreams, like the movie star you truly are. Because when the credits roll, I want you to look back at your life like it's the greatest film ever made, full of meaning, magic, and most importantly, zero regrets. And because I truly believe everyone deserves to live an epic life fit for the big screen. So grab your popcorn, cue the music, and together, let's Movify your life.
Movify Your Life Show begins. Lift your spirit, let joy rush in. Feel the magic, hear the roar. Step on stage and ask for more.
Hello, and welcome to the Movify Your Life Show. I'm your host, Jessica Grace Coleman, but you can call me Jess, and welcome to the 200th episode. Now that is something to celebrate, so I've got a cup of tea and a banana, but I am having a lovely time. It's actually ice wine tea because I have just got back from Canada, and at least the part of Canada I went to, and I think Canada in general, is known for probably two main things in terms of food and drink, and that is maple syrup and anything maple flavoured, and ice wine. And I have had ice wine. It's very nice, very sweet, kind of dessert wine. I believe it's made by waiting until the grapes on the vine have gone through the frost. So they wait until the frost comes and then they harvest them and make them into wine. So it's sort of like ice wine, like frosty wine. But don't quote me on that. I'm not a wine expert by any means. But I am a tea lover, maybe not expert, massive tea lover. I bought loads of tea over there, including some ice wine tea. So this is my first time trying ice wine tea. Very exciting. But anyway, yes, this is the 200th episode. And I just want to point out, I haven't done 200 episodes of the Movify Your Life show. Previous to this sort of version of the podcast, it was called the Travel Transformation Podcast. And I did over 100 episodes of that. But I kept it on the same feed because it's very similar themes that I talk about: travel, transformation, magical movie moments, which turned into Movifying Your Life, which turned into this podcast. So I'm celebrating 200 episodes of adventure, transformation, overcoming fear, sort of following the plot twist, making your own plot twists, getting out there and living life and having an amazing time. So it is a big celebration, really. 200 episodes is quite the feat. And I want to take a moment to just acknowledge that, because I don't often take the time to celebrate any wins I have. If you're like me, you'll know what I mean. But anyway, yes, welcome to the 200th episode. I just want to say, if you can hear some cawing outside, we have a gang of crows in the garden and they're fighting over the bird feeder, and I love them. I call them goth birds. I love any shiny black feathered birds, but they are being quite loud, and they've got some beef basically over the bird feeder. Even though there's plenty of room for lots of them, they keep squawking and fighting with each other. So hopefully you can't hear that, but if you can, it's my little crow friends, my feathered goth birds. And if anyone has any tips, by the way, of how to make friends with a crow, because I know they're very intelligent and I know they appreciate being fed and often bring people presents. And I would love to get to that level with the crows in the garden, or at least one. So if you've ever befriended a crow, let me know. I'm being totally serious. You can DM me on Instagram at Movify Your Life, or email me at action@movifyyourlife.com, or the information are in the show notes. And yeah, I just thought I'd mention that. So I'm going to have a sip of my ice wine tea for the first time. Let me just pause this for a second. Okay, I just had my first sip, and I can tell you that it does actually taste like, not just smell like, because sometimes tea smells like stuff but doesn't taste like it, but it does actually taste a bit like ice wine. It's not alcoholic, but it's just very sweet. It tastes kind of dessert winey, so that's pretty cool. I'm glad I got some on my trips. And yes, I have just got back from Canada. I batched a load of episodes before I went away because I knew that not only was I away for 2 weeks, I knew I'd be quite jet lagged when I got back. I've been back a week now and I've only just kind of started getting back to a kind of normal sleep cycle. I think I got to sleep before 1:30 a.m. this morning and it's been like 2, 3, 4 before, so I'm getting there. But it's been a while since I recorded an episode because I batched a load beforehand, sort of around Easter time. And then I've had quite a few weeks not recording anything. So if I'm a bit rusty and if I'm rambling about goth birds in the garden, you'll know why. Also, it's probably the lack of sleep and the jet lag. I've been trying to get back to work, my normal workload this week as well, but it's taken a while. I'm easing myself back in. So yes, I got back from Canada, which was amazing. And I'm going to do a full sort of roundup of my Canada trip next week because I went to Banff National Park and surrounding areas. Also went to Vancouver, went up to Jasper. And I knew it would be cinematic AF, as I say it, without swearing. And I knew it would just be perfect for Movify Your Life. Like, I didn't have to even particularly do anything while I was out there. It was just cinematic on its own with all the scenery, the epic mountains, the lakes, the wildlife everywhere. I felt like I was in a movie most of the time. So I wanted to do a whole episode about it. I made some notes of what I did, or what we did every day. I went with 2 of my friends, Ruth and Vicky, and I'm going to go through it next week. I'm going to record it next. Some podcast secrets for you there. But it will be released next week, so please tune in then. I'll be going through our day-to-day diary, what we did. I made a note of something cinematic AF that either happened every day or it was just the whole day was cinematic AF. I felt like I was in a movie. And I'm also going to talk about sort of things I learned and all that good stuff. So that's next week. But as I said, today I'm celebrating 200 episodes of this podcast. And I can't quite believe I'm saying that as a massive introvert who doesn't like talking a lot. Having a podcast, I didn't think it would last that long, to be honest. So I just wanted to try it, basically. And so I'm amazed, first of all, that I've even got here. It does feel kind of surreal recording this, especially thinking back to when I started. I actually remember starting it, doing the first recording. I remember it because I wasn't in my normal house. I was cat sitting for a friend. My friend Ruth, actually, who I went on holiday with, and I was trying to record it at her place. And it usually happens when you're starting something new. I was terrible. I mean, I'm not saying I'm an expert now by any means, but I didn't know what I was doing. I hadn't been used to talking for that long. I'm self-employed, work from home, work on my own, so I don't generally talk during the day for like long periods of time. There's no meetings or presentations or anything like that. So my voice kept getting really raspy, kept having to stop to drink a lot. And then my stomach was making weird noises and there were loads of noises coming from the street and loads of other stuff going on. And I had like notes and like some things to read, but I just didn't make any sense. Hopefully that has changed. Hopefully you can listen to this and be like, yeah, she's got better. But I didn't know what I was doing. I nearly gave up. I got so frustrated that first day. It took forever to record just one episode because I kept having to pause and going back and re-recording stuff. And I didn't want to give myself the job of editing too much. I was editing it myself back then. These days I have a podcast editor, Irish. She does it for me. Oh, it was just a nightmare, to be honest. So looking back on that first episode I recorded, I can see how far I've come. And I think it's important to reflect back on anything in life where you've been doing it for a long time and remember how bad you were at the start. That reminds you that if you start something new now and you're bad at it, it doesn't matter. That's just how it goes. Just keep going. And as I often tell people, just imagine it's like a training montage in a movie. They always are terrible at the start and then they get a bit better. Then they have a bit of a setback. Then they get a bit better again. And then by the end of the montage, they are crushing it. So I like thinking it in those terms. And it's good to reflect back on the start of your projects. I also recommend if you follow people online, it's a bit harder to do on some social media platforms, but on YouTube, if you have like a favorite YouTuber or a favorite podcaster who does video podcasts and things like that, go back to their like first videos. They're usually terrible, or at least, nowhere near as amazing and polished as they are now. So it's a good reminder that everyone starts somewhere and we all start at zero. And it doesn't matter if you're kind of crap at something when you start. So I had no idea I'd get to episode 200. I had no idea if anyone would listen. Some weeks it feels like no one does listen, but my numbers have steadily been going up. And hopefully they will continue to do so. So if you do like this podcast, please share it. Let people know about it. Tell your friends, share it on social media. I would really, really appreciate that. So how did this podcast actually start? Because as I said, it started as the Travel Transformation Podcast. And I've talked about this before, but I basically, not too long after the world opened up again after the pandemic, I put all my stuff in storage and I went traveling and I became a digital nomad, which I'd been wanting to do for about 12 years, ever since I became self-employed and could work anywhere from a laptop with a Wi-Fi connection. I finally did it, and I learned so much during those travels and meeting amazing people from all over the world and really pushing myself outside my comfort zone and facing my fears of public speaking and everything, that this whole brand came out of it, the Travel Transformation Coach. I had online videos, courses, I had the podcast, I wrote a book called Intentional Travel Transformation. You can read all about my story there if you'd like to check that out. And I really wanted to do a podcast because while I like videos, I do like the idea of just being able to sit down in my pajamas, no makeup, hair not done, and record podcasts whenever I feel like it. I know a lot of podcasts these days are video as well, and one day I may get around to that. But at the moment, I like the fact that I can just sit down, look awful, and it doesn't matter. And I also thought it would be good practice for me, talking about the things I want to talk about, the things I want to teach people. And I also did a lot of interviews during that podcast iteration with travelers from all over the world. So I got to meet some really cool people. I also interviewed a lot of my friends who I met while traveling. So that was cool, like other digital nomads and remote workers and solo travelers and all that good stuff. And I had a blast. And at one point I was doing 2 episodes a week. And sometimes I was recording like 5 interviews, like online interviews a week. And those, I do love interviews, but they come with so much stuff around them. There's all the preparation, all the admin, all the organizing, getting people to show up. Sometimes people don't show up. Obviously doing all the research into the people, coming up with the questions, all the stuff afterwards, letting them know when it's aired and sharing everything with them. And it's just a lot of work. And if you can imagine, I was doing about 5 of those sometimes a week on top of my usual day job and writing a book and creating courses and everything else. It became too much. So I went down to 1 a week again. And then with Movify Your Life, I'm not saying I'll never do interviews. I would love to do some interviews in the future on this podcast, but I really just wanted to do some solo episodes to start with to, again, get practice talking about what I want to talk about and want to teach and what I feel really passionate about with Movify Your Life. And I think talking into the ether is quite a good way of doing that. But I do love getting feedback. So please email me or DM me if you'd like to tell me what you think about the topics, if you want to suggest or request a topic for me to talk about on the podcast. If you want to get a shout out on the podcast, if you've movified your life in any way, that'll be cool. Or if you just want to say hi and let me know you're listening and I'm not talking to no one, that would be lovely. action@movifyyourlife.com, and you can DM me on Instagram @movifyyourlife. And please follow me on there as well. I'm coming up with videos and reels and silly things and hopefully motivational things as well. And at the moment, I'm posting all my Canada footage. So that's fun. So yeah, that's why I started. The original mission was to help people step outside their comfort zones and achieve their dreams and become the person they want to become via traveling. And that could mean solo traveling, but it didn't have to. It's basically intentional traveling. So not just going on holiday and sitting by a beach, although that's lovely sometimes, but actually using travel as a tool to boost your confidence, to step outside your comfort zone, to go out there and become the person you really want to become. And like I say, I talked a lot about magical movie moments, which I have a lot more when I'm traveling and doing new things and meeting new people. And that slowly evolved into this idea of movifying your life and making your life more like a movie. And travel still is a huge part of it, but it doesn't have to mean going halfway around the world on a plane. It can mean, just traveling from your house, going somewhere new and doing new things and meeting new people. So still got very similar themes going on there. So that's where it started. Then it evolved into Movify Your Life. I did have a sort of hiatus, a few months in between while I figured out what I actually wanted to do and rebranded everything. And then I came back and it's been Movify Your Life ever since. And I hope it will stay that way for many years to come because I have so many ideas and so many things I want to do around this brand. And this podcast is still a great way of letting you know about what's happening and teaching people things and sharing stories and just hopefully inspiring you to go out there and do incredible things with your life, with this one life that we know we have, at least on this amazing, incredible, beautiful, stunning planet. And I know there's a lot of crap things going on in the world, but the planet itself is still beautiful, at least right now until, humans destroy everything. So let's make the most of it while we can. Okay, so I just want to do a sort of 10 biggest things I've learned section from my 200 episodes, both the Travel Transformation podcast and Movify Your Life. Because, as I say, it's always fun to reflect back on things and see what lessons you've learnt, but also hopefully it can help you and inspire you and give you ideas about how to live your life if you want to be more movified and intentional about it, which if you're listening to this podcast, I think you probably are. So, number one of the biggest things I've learnt is that most people are playing smaller than they truly want to. And this was me to a T. I had all these big dreams and aspirations and goals. I wanted to travel the world while working remotely. I wanted to become the person who does that. I wanted to not just be at home all the time. And for years and years and years, that's exactly what I did. And then the pandemic, I also had a back injury, which I was literally knocked on my back for about a year before the lockdown started. And I was pretty much housebound that entire time. So by the time the lockdowns ended, my back was not completely better, but, a lot better. I was like, I'm out of here. I've got to stop playing small. Life is short. So many people died, obviously, during the pandemic and still are, that you've just got to go for it while we can. We never know what's around the corner. So I knew I had to stop playing small. And now I want to help other people stop playing small, basically, and live a more epic, movified, movie-worthy life, a life you can imagine on the big screen and one that you can imagine looking back on at the end as the credits roll, as I say, and being truly proud of all these amazing things you've done.
Okay, movie star, real talk. Are you tired of feeling like a background extra in your own life? Then it's time to step into the spotlight and activate your main character era. And I've got just the thing to help you do it. Grab my free Movie Star Alter Ego Starter Kit, your behind-the-scenes pass to creating the bold, brave, action-taking version of you who goes after their dreams like the star of a blockbuster. Inside, you'll discover how to design your alter ego, choose your transformational item, pick your theme song, and build the rituals and confidence cues you need to start living your life like the epic movie it was meant to be. So, if you're ready to rewrite your script, roll camera, and finally take the lead, head to movifyyourlife.com/free to download your free starter kit now. That's movifyyourlife.com/free. Your next scene starts today. And now, let's get back to the action.
So number two, and I already knew this, but this is something that has been highlighted to me during the time I've been recording these past 200 episodes, is confidence is built through action, not found beforehand. And this is a biggie for any area of your life. So it's basically a huge recurring theme in Movify Your Life. You don't become confident and then do the thing. You do the thing and then you become confident because you've done the thing. Because you've kept your promise to yourself, for one thing, and because you've proved to yourself and other people that you can do hard things. And if you keep doing hard things, then your confidence just builds and builds and builds and builds. Far too many people wait around waiting to feel confident, waiting to feel ready. Ready is not a feeling, it is a decision, I think is the quote. You've just got to go and do the thing, even if it scares you, particularly if it scares you, because then you're heading in the right direction. So this was me. I didn't feel confident enough to solo travel around the world, but I did it. I didn't feel confident to start doing workshops to digital nomads from all over the world, but I did it. I didn't feel confident to film publicly, so stuff for social media, but mostly my movie-mentary, which I made, which you can find on YouTube for free, link in the show notes. Movify Your Life, the movie-mentary. It's a documentary with a twist. The twist is that I basically went mad while filming it, descended into chaos, and it was all great fun. I really, really didn't feel confident enough to do that, but I made myself do it. And I'm going to talk about this in a couple of episodes' time, actually, about embracing the cringe more, like literally change your life. And that's what happened when I filmed my movie-mentary. I was so cringy, but I filmed it. And then I watched it back and I was so cringy, but I released it. And there's a kind of freedom in that. It frees you up. You don't care as much about what people think and you can just go out and do more things. But as I say, I'll talk about that more in a couple of episodes' time. So public speaking was my number one fear. I forced myself to do it. And afterwards I felt more confident. It's simple. It's nothing groundbreaking, but it's something that I have learned in spades over these past 200 episodes. And that includes interviewing people and being interviewed on other podcasts, as I did not feel confident at all doing that. I was quite terrified, in fact, but I did it. And the more I did it, the more confident I felt. And you can probably tell a big difference between the first interview I carried out and the most recent one I did, both in terms of interviewing people and being the interviewee. So that is a huge thing. And that is an example of how the podcast has directly helped me boost my confidence. Okay, so number 3 is your life changes when you start seeing it differently. And that's kind of the whole ethos of Movify Your Life. It's taking a step back, looking at your life, looking at things, your surroundings, what you're doing, the people in your life through a cinematic lens, and seeing that what you've already got is already pretty awesome where you live. You might not think about it in these terms, but other people might see it and be like, oh my God, it's like a movie set, or this reminds me of a quaint UK murder mystery, hopefully without murder. Or like, it's just other people's viewpoints, stepping out and seeing it as if you're watching a movie on a big screen. It's about having a cinematic perspective. It's about going out there and planning cinematic trips and activities and fun days out. It's about just looking at your life through a different lens, a cinematic lens. This is like one of my core philosophies, because not only does it help you look at your existing life and circumstances in a different way, but it helps you plan your future in a more fun, movified way. And that's what it is all about. Now, number 4, I put magical movie moments rarely happen accidentally. And I feel I have to explain this a little bit more. If you don't know what a magical movie moment is, I've done plenty of podcast episodes about them, but it's basically a moment in time where you feel like you're in a scene in a movie, like an epic movie, a positive movie. It could be something as simple as being on a train and looking out the window and there's amazing scenery and you're listening to your favorite song and everything just seems in that moment as if everything is going to work out. And you can imagine it being a sort of transition scene in a film or something like that. I've had loads. A lot include going out on a boat on water with music playing. Music is often there. Good friends, good food, good wine. Doing something really adventurous for the first time. Seeing something incredible. Like when I saw the Grand Canyon, I felt like I was in a big, amazing cinematic movie scene. And I've put they rarely happen accidentally. And I have actually taught people that you can manufacture these to a certain extent. And there's a sort of guide, steps to go through to make that happen. But mostly I'd say these are moments that happen on their own. They are surprising, unexpected. That's what makes them so magical. But, caveat, they rarely happen accidentally because you have to put yourself in a position where these things happen more often. So that's why I talk about travel a lot, especially solo travel, because you're forced to meet new people, try new things, do stuff you wouldn't normally do in your normal life. Like I generally don't go out on a boat in my normal life, but if I'm traveling and there's a boat ride that someone suggests, then I'm like, yes. You have to put yourself in these positions. You have to say yes to things. You have to put yourself out there. You have to take the trip, start the conversation, do the thing, do the scary thing, maybe wear the ridiculous outfit. Just let yourself go out there, try new things, like give the magic space to happen, if that makes sense. If you're just sitting at home in your computer all day, every day, and you never go anywhere, you're probably not going to have any magical movie moments. And that's talking from experience. So, number 5 is fear and excitement often look very similar. The first sort of self-development book I wrote was called Write Your Life. So you can see how I've sort of evolved into travel and then into movies. It's all, the whole time it's been about transforming your life though. And I think I had a quote in there, which was, fear is just excitement in a fancy hat. It's just masquerading. Oftentimes your body cannot tell the difference. And there's also different types of fear. I'm sure you've heard this a million times. There's the fear we had when we were cave people. Fear of a woolly mammoth is not the same now as fear of going outside the house and talking to someone and making small talk. But our brains sort of still are in that woolly mammoth era, if you will. They still get scared. They still see it as a life-threatening thing, even though it isn't. And obviously there's different types of fear, but generally fear and excitement can get confused. And you can be excited and fearful and still go and do the thing. And obviously feel the fear and do it anyway. The things you feel fearful about are the things that are going to make you feel incredible once you've done them. You know you're heading in the right direction. You know you're growing, changing, pushing yourself, stepping outside your comfort zone if you go after the fearful, scary things, as long as you're not literally being chased down by a big beast, obviously. So yeah, feel the fear and do it anyway. Nothing groundbreaking, but it has been a major theme for me over the years I've been doing this podcast. Okay, number 6 is the stories you tell yourself shape your entire life. And this is a biggie. This is all about your identity, the labels you give yourself because other people gave you them when you were younger. For me, it was I'm shy, I'm not confident enough to do this, I'm too quiet, blah, 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 all that crap. Now I know it doesn't matter if I'm quiet. I like being quiet and I am confident enough to do scary things. I have proven that to myself over and over again during these past few years. That was an old version of myself. I've done so many podcast episodes about this. But the words you say to yourself matter, the stories you tell yourself matter, and it's a good practice every year, every 6 months maybe, to sit down and go through your beliefs and work out if they actually are true still, or if they ever were true, if you've outgrown them, if you're no longer that person, but you're still operating under that persona, this stuff really matters. It can completely change your life if you realize you've been operating under an assumption someone made about you years ago and you've just sort of like internalized that and you're not actually that person. It's very freeing. Number 7 is that people care far less than we think they do. And again, I'm going to be talking about this in a couple of episodes' time when I'm talking about embracing the cringe. But we stop ourselves from doing so many things because we're worried about what people think. We're worried about looking silly. We're worried about failing. We're worried about falling on our face. We're worried about literally anything and everything. When in reality, people may judge you, it's true, but most of the time, they're just too busy thinking about themselves and whether they're going to fall on their face and what people think of them to really bother about you. They might give you a fleeting thought, but then they'll forget. So if that's the case, why are we letting that stop us from doing stuff? And you know what? Even if they do think horrible things, that says more about them than it does about you. So let's just get on with it. I know it's easier said than done, but knowing this, being aware of it can really help. Number 8 is fun is not frivolous. I am all about the fun at Movify Your Life. Movify Your Life is silly. It's meant to be silly because I think there should be more silliness in the world. When we're younger, when we're kids, we play, we imagine, we have imaginary friends, we have imaginary scenarios, we think we're pirates running around or princesses or whatever you want. And then we grow out of it and I think that's really sad. I think we should play more and just have more fun just for the sake of having fun. And I know responsibilities and adult stuff gets in the way, but even if we can take a few hours a week, even 1 hour a week, half an hour a week to just be fun and silly, it can really change the way you see life and it can change your temperament, it can change your mood. And adulthood is too serious. Life is too short to just be serious all the time. Joy is a valid life goal. In fact, it's probably the only thing that matters, that you're happy and you're having fun. And this is just a huge thing in Movify Your Life. My entire movie-mentary, there is a serious thread running throughout it, but basically the entire thing is incredibly silly and ridiculous and fun. But that doesn't mean it's not important. So inject more fun into your life. It will change your life. Number 9 is your favorite memories or clues. I bang on about this all the time. I have an exercise that I encourage everyone to do. I initially did it around travel, but you can do it just around your life in general. Writing down your favorite memories, what they were, where you were, what they included, who you were with, and then finding patterns. So maybe it's you love going out and trying new things. Maybe it's you love going out for meals with your loved ones. Maybe it's like me, you love going in a hot tub when you're on holiday with a glass of bubbly and some music and just chilling the F out. One of my favorite things to do. But it's all about reminiscing, having fun reminiscing for one thing, and then looking for patterns, seeing what makes you happy, and then purposefully going forward using that newfound knowledge. It may not be newfound, but, we don't really often stop and think about these things to create new memories that you know you will love because you loved them in the past. The moments that light us up, because these moments often point us towards who we really are, what matters most, and what we want more of out of life. And if we have that knowledge, we can plan our trips around it, plan our lives around it. Maybe I could save up for a hot tub. You get the idea. And number 10 is life moves frighteningly fast. I talk about this a lot, about getting to the end of your life with the credits rolling and looking back and not wanting to feel regret, but feeling joy and pride for all the crazy, amazing, wonderful things you've done. And this is what it's really all about. You don't want to get to the end of your life, whenever that is. None of us know. This has been hammered home to me recently the past few years with a lot of family members passing away, including my amazing mom who went way before her time. But life is short. It moves very fast. And I think it's our responsibility, our right to make sure we, and therefore everyone around us, has the best time possible while we're on this earth. Hopefully while also looking after the earth and doing good things, leaving it better than we found it. But it's all about just going out there and making the most of life. That is the main thing behind Movify Your Life. Movifying things is just the way I particularly do it, and it's the way I teach other people to do it. But it's all about making the most of life. So that was number 10. And just before we go, I want to talk a little bit about the future of Movify Your Life. If you have just listened to this podcast and don't know anything else about the Movify Your Life cinematic universe, I'm basically creating a whole universe around it. So that includes the podcast, includes my book that I wrote, and that accompanies the movie-mentary that's on YouTube. I have a main character memo that goes out every Monday, every Movify Monday. You can go to movifyyourlife.com/free to join that and to get my Movie Star Alter Ego Starter Kit, which is so fun. And I recommend it to anyone. I also have a couple of online coursey things, but I have big visions for this brand. I want it to be a global movement. I want it to be a household term. Those are my huge, big goals. I want to do workshops. I want to have online courses, memberships, maybe retreats in the future, maybe pop-ups at hotels. Like, I have all the big visions. So if you want to know about any of that, basically, keep listening to the podcast, sign up to my mailing list, and follow me on social media. As I say, I'm at Movify Your Life on Instagram. I'm also on Facebook, and I am on TikTok, but I don't post much there, but that may change. But I just want to help as many people as I can basically movify their life, and that's all over the world. And that's why I love it when people write in and tell me where they're from and when they're listening from. So please do that. Again, you can email me at action@movifyyourlife.com, or this is in the show notes below. And I just want it to become bigger than me. I'm a big Hamilton fan, if anyone knows that about me. I've talked about it a lot on this podcast. And the biggest theme probably in Hamilton is that time is ticking away and he wants to leave a legacy. He wants to leave something that is going to outlive him. And that's what I want to do with Movify Your Life. I want people to learn from Movify Your Life and it to be this huge global thing, but I also want it to live beyond me. So I don't care if people remember me or not, but I would love for them to remember Movify Your Life and all the exercises I talk about and all the fun things that can help people create an epic movie-worthy life fit for the big screen. Because I think we all deserve to live an amazing life. So I have big things on the horizon. So please sign up to my mailing list and listen to this podcast and follow the podcast or subscribe or whatever it's called on your platform. Follow me on Instagram because I've got a lot of plans. And one of the big things I want to build is community. And that is what I'm going to be looking at first. I don't want to say too much now, but I do have a plan. And I would love to create a space online where people can come together and be part of the Movify Your Life community. Hopefully also do some in-person things for like local in-person communities. And it's all about helping you connect with each other and helping you movify your life, not just on your own, but as a big global group. Yeah, it's going to be a whole cinematic universe. Okay, just before we go, I wanted to do a giveaway section because this is the 200th episode. And like I say, I think we should celebrate it. So I'm going to celebrate it by giving stuff away. So basically, what you'll win is something in the post. Very mysterious, I know, but I love sending stuff out in the post. Movify Your Life merchandise related. No matter where you are in the world, you'll get something in the mail, something physical, tangible. So that'll be fun. I'll also do a personalized video message celebrating you and hyping you up as the main character of your own story, a bit like the videos you can get on Cameo. I'm not famous enough to be on Cameo, but I love the idea. I've bought many for my friends over the years from famous actors and things like that. And you'll also get early/VIP access to any of my courses or programs before the general public that I create for Movify Your Life online. So if you want those three things, merch in the post, a video message from me, and founding member status, basically early VIP access before the general public of online programs for the future, please get in touch. You can enter by emailing action@movifyyourlife.com or DMing me on Instagram at movifyyourlife. And I'll need your name, your postal address, your mailing address, no matter where you are in the world, and one other thing, because I won't really be able to do a personalized video for you if I know nothing about you. So I would like you to tell me how you have movified your life, either since following Movify Your Life or before. You may have movified your life without being aware of the term or without really knowing what you're doing. Basically, one thing you've done to make your life feel more cinematic, make it feel like you're in a movie, something you have intentionally done to further your life and your goals in a movified way. That's it. So again, email me at action@movifyyourlife.com or DM me on Instagram at movifyyourlife. Give me your name, your mailing address, and one thing you've done to movify your life, either recently or in the past. And I will pick one winner to do the video for, send the merch to, and you'll be number one on my list for any future courses, programs, communities I create. So that's it. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here, for listening to any of these episodes, because if literally no one listened, I would not have made it to 200 episodes. So I really, really appreciate it. Again, I would really appreciate it if you could share it with friends, family, anyone you think would enjoy this. And here's to another 200 episodes. I wonder where I'll be in 200 episodes time. It's always interesting to think about, isn't it? Where will I be in 6 months, a year, 5 years? If you keep movifying your life, the sky is the limit. So thank you again for listening. And until next Movify Monday, I will see you on the red carpet.
Thank you so much for listening to the Movify Your Life show. Before you go, don't forget to sign up for the main character memo mailing list at movifyyourlife.com/list for exclusive tips, treats, and behind the scenes magic. And if you enjoyed this episode, I would really appreciate it if you could please subscribe, leave a review, or share this podcast with a friend. Let's spread that Movify message far and wide because everyone deserves to live an epic life fit for the big screen. I'll see you next week for another Movify Monday. Until then, that's a wrap.